Hello, fellow vapors. Vaping newbie here, and tonight we're going to be looking at two items. One is a rebuildable atomizer, and the other is a bottle of juice. And I just purchased these from jgvapes.com. The link for their website and their Facebook page down below. Jason is one of the three people I trust when I'm talking hardware, and I give Jason my full confidence. And if I have a question and I ask him, I know the answer is going to be straightforward and true. So, Jason, thank you, mate. No, that doesn't work. I don't do accents, I guess. I don't know. I tried, Jason. What we're going to be looking at is a clone of the Squape Reloaded Rebuildable Atomizer. Before we even look at that, I do want to touch on that. Yes, I've always called myself a vaping newbie. I try to talk about introductory pieces as well as, I do a lot of juices, but introductory hardware. And I find that it's not a complex rebuildable. When I started with K-Fun clones, and I went on to Russian 91s and so on and so forth. But they all had a common thread. They're all very easy. Either that makes me lazy, or I just don't want to get into all of that fancy. I mean, I've seen some beautiful, beautiful coils out there. I just do a very simple and basic practical coil. So the idea is that if I talk about this, maybe a newer vapor that wants to take that leap will then have the confidence, as I did, to jump and start doing rebuilding. So that's why I talk about it. Before I get into it, I do want to talk about the Squape Reloaded and the exterior. Here we go. There's the box that it comes in, and you'll notice it says Squape R, and then underneath that says Reloaded. It does have a sticker up here that says Kingtu, and that's the manufacturer of this clone. And then on the bottom it says Made in Switzerland. Okay. On the back, you have a bunch of writing that I quite frankly didn't read, and it says that it's from Statquam, which is the original maker of the Squape, and it's in both Swiss or German and in English as well, and of course again saying made in Switzerland. I have a bit of a problem with that. It's bad enough, and you know what? God bless them. The people that make this, that do the R&D on this, and spend the money to develop this, they come out with a prime product. Unfortunately, I can't afford it. So my option is either not get it or get a clone, and that's what I do. And I confess it. I'm not looking for a debate on it. It's what I do. But when they knock off the packaging, they could have used the plain package, and that would have been just fine, because you don't buy it for the packaging, you buy it for the device itself. So that really bothers me, as well as some of the markings that you'll see. They really did copy. I mean, even on the box, it has, where is it now? Right here, they even give you the website for Statquam. So I think that's really nice. They're sort of advertising for them. So got to check that out. So we're going to change the camera angles. We're going to go down below, empty out this box, and see what we got. Hold on. Okay, so we're down below. We're going to go into the box, and I did check online, and indeed, that is the actual Statquam website. So that is something that they're allowing, or they're putting that on, and sort of giving some advertisements to the originator of this. You open it up, and you get inside a little baggie, and in this baggie you have some spare O-rings, some spare screws, and an Allen key, which you're going to need, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. And then you have 3 different build decks, and then of course the actual tank itself. Now we're going to look at this obviously more closely, but let's first break down these build decks. There are 3. The idea is that each build deck has something different to offer. Now what I'm going to do is, that you see what it is, I'm going to change camera angles so I can get a better look at these build decks. Okay, we're back up top, and I do want to take you through these decks, and I apologize up front because it's hard to get them focused, but you have 3. One is S for standard, C for curved, and W for wide. We're going to start with the W deck. This is the one, it's a bit wider a deck, and it's got a little W on the bottom, as you see. And Jason said, you know what, Gord, just put that one on, make a larger coil, about a 3mm coil, and slop some cotton in there, and you're going to be good to go. It's a no-brainer. So that's what I'm actually going to do. But let's take a look at the other 2 decks that come along with it. There is the standard deck, which is a wee bit smaller. It's got that little S on the bottom. And then you have the curved deck. Folks, that is their version of a curved deck. Now, let's see if I can put these two side by side, line them up, and see if you could see a difference, because I sure as hell can't. I really don't see any difference. I know my nails are bad, but I don't really see any difference. The width is slightly different, but not much. So that came as a surprise. But I have seen the authentic curved deck, and it actually does have a curve to it. So Kingtu, if you're going to mark C for curved, make it curved. Okay. So that's it. Those are the three decks. Now, I do want to take you, obviously, through the tank. Really nice looking tank. I really like the looks of this tank. It's all stainless steel. And then on this side here, you have that SQ Stackpong with the Swedish cross inside the Q. At the bottom, you have a airflow control, and it is several holes that range from 1 millimeter to 3 millimeter. You have a replaceable drip tip, but I want to show you this. Look, two O-rings, so you do have that nice tight fit, and that I really like. And then you have a frosted glass. It is glass, it's borosilicate glass, and but it is frosted. And then they have those sort of windows, and I guess that's to see, to see the juice inside. The threading on this, and there's really only one place to unscrew, and that's the bottom, because you don't want to, there's nothing else to unscrew except the chimney, which I'll show you in a minute. So this is your build deck, and you can see I have those very high posts, and all you do is you're going to remove these two screws, put in one of those build decks that I showed you, one of those three, put the screws back, which become where you capture your canthal, and then there you go, there's your build deck. So we're going to do that a bit later. This is done, of course, in steps. And then you have here, you can see your chimney, and there's not a lot of space to get juice in there, and you sure as hell don't want to get juice down the bottom. So I was mentioning before that it comes with that Allen key, and you really want to make sure you hold on to this Allen key, because I'll tell you folks, you need it. You put the Allen key inside, and you unscrew that, and your chimney comes out. So the chimney it's all coated. All the three decks and the chimney have a coating on it. So I'm hoping that that's going to be a long-lasting coating. And from everything I've heard, it is. So I'm quite confident with that. But you can see how it's, again, sort of K-Fun-esque, and it's one unit. It doesn't separate. And then inside there you have, that's your tank inside. So really, there's nothing else on this that unscrews except for this chimney. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build it. I'm going to show you how I'm doing it, and then we're going to give it a whirl and see how I like it. I'll let you know. Hang in there. Hey, before I get to actually building the coil, I want to show you how I'm reassembling all of this. So I've removed the two screws that were in the top that you saw before, and I'm choosing to use the wide deck as recommended by my great and good friend Jason. So that just pops on there, and then you have these two wee little screws, and you just put those back. And I have to imagine, and I've never actually worked with an authentic, but I have to imagine it would be the same idea. And then the funny thing is, it doesn't come with a screwdriver, even though you need it. But we generally have a few of these screwdrivers laying around. But there you go. So now it is assembled and waiting to be built. Okay, folks, I got to be honest. I went back to the what they call the curved deck, because I noticed the bar that I use, which is a 2 millimeter bar, when I'm building all my other coils, fits perfectly. So it's funny, I was just looking at some of my old videos where I said I'd never show a build, but there you go. I got my little micro coil on there. It's coming in at 0.9 ohms, a bit low for me. I did a 5 wrap with 28 gauge rather than a 6 wrap with 28 gauge, so I get it underneath, it comes out sub-ohming. So we're going to see how that goes. But let's see. It's lighting up very nice. So I'm going to get some cotton in there and work with how to cotton it properly. And I'll be back. Let's take a look. Okay, so I got some cotton in there, and it's loosely placed. It's not tight. I can actually pull it through either side, and I have it going about halfway down the deck. So I'm going to juice this up with part 2 of the video, and I want to thank you. I hope you're staying with me through this because it is a longish video. But when you're talking about something of this nature, you do want to get all as much information out as possible. So there we go. We're going to juice that up really nicely. Now, what I want to do is I want to sort of coerce the wick into the juice channel. I want it to go down into the juice channel on either side. I'm just using a screwdriver that I happen to have handy to help me get it in there because I want it to be placed. And there you go. I have it on either side. Nice fluffy coil. Fluffy wick. We're going to take a look at this on the device before we reassemble everything and see how that looks. I think that looks pretty darn good. So let me get it all together and we'll go back up top. I apologize. Before we get up top, I want to show you here that you do have such limited space to get juice in that tank. Remember I was saying about the distance between the chimney and the wall of the tank. So I did pick up today a needle, a syringe, so that's going to help me with all the other juices. This seems to be working okay. You just have to sort of tilt the tank, and then you won't get any juice down that chimney because that would just leak right out, or you'd get it in your mouth, and that just wouldn't be any fun. So now, as promised, we're going to go back up top, put on a device, and see how it goes. Okay, so we have it all together, and I think it looks really good. It is an attractive tank, in my opinion. I even like the drip tip. The drip tip sort of has an etching on it, which leads into the tank, which I think is really, really nice. So here we go. Wow. Better than I thought it would be. Very nice. It's coming out at 0.94 ohms, and I'm vaping it at 18 watts. Very, very tasty. I really like it. Folks, thanks to the miracle of editing, I had several different wicks in there. The first wick, I kept getting dry hits, and I cut it back, and I was still getting dry hits. I'm trying to find that spot, and to me, the spot is halfway down that juice channel. Did that, haven't had a dry hit, touch wood. No leaking whatsoever, touch wood. Really good tank. The flavor that I'm getting, it just seems like every time I buy a rebuildable tank these days, it gets progressively better. So good job by Kingtu, and find it jgvapes.com. It is a very nice tank. It's that glass tank, so you could play a bit with what juices you're going to use in it because it's not a polycarbonate tank. Again, looks really great. The only thing I wish they would have given you an extra glass tank in case of breakage. It is what it is. The only downside that I found is that sort of very narrow space between the chimney and the wall of the tank in order to get the juices in. So, you really have to be careful. You don't want juice down that chimney because you're just going to end up with it in your mouth, and that's never fun, or leaking all over the place, and that's even worse. So there you go. That's the Squape Reloaded by Kingtu. Great tank. I'm enjoying it. Hope you did. We're going to come back. We're going to talk some juice in just a second. It's juice time. And before I start, taste is subjective. What you like, I might not. What I like, you might not. So we always keep that in mind. Tonight, we're going to be looking at a juice by a company called Pony Boy Vapes. That's hard for me to say for some reason. Pony Boy Vapes. And really nice packaging. The brown glass bottles with the dripper. Now, It didn't arrive like that. It had this childproof cap on it, and then the dripper was put on the side, which it's a nice touch because it becomes a real pain. And But this does not have childproofing, so you want to make sure that you keep that out of the reach of kids. I'm not trying to lecture. Uh, all the Pony Boy vapes that are available at jgvapes.com is they're all 15% PG, 85% VG, and 4 milligrams of nicotine. When I was talking to Jason about them, he said, really, they were made for drippers. And I said, but I don't really have a dripper per se. And he said, it's no problem. It'll work in a tank. So it is a bit thicker juice, but it seems to work well, at least in the 2 tanks that I was using it in today. This juice has been vaped on 2 separate different tanks, as I mentioned. One was a Limo at 1.15 ohms, and I vaped that at 17 watts, and I have now 0.95 ohms, and I'm vaping it at 18 watts on the Squape. And this has amazing flavor. It is an RY4 juice, which is generally a tobacco juice, with heavy butterscotch caramel tones to it, and underlying that marshmallow. So I don't like tobacco type juices. When I chose this, I sort of didn't know how I was going to react to it. But the moment I opened the bottle and I smelled it, I thought, wow, that's just really pungent. It's really a nice smell to it. And then vaping it all day today, it's just probably gonna have to be ordering some real soon. The Pony Boy line, there's about 12 different flavors at jgvapes.com, and it ranges from tobaccos into fruits and whatnot. They really have a nice selection, and they're all named after 50s and 60s icons in one way or the other. This one is called the Drifter. Again, it's an RY4 juice with butterscotch caramel and some marshmallow in there. It's a very nice vape. I don't like tobacco e-juices, but I'm not feeling it. This is a tobacco. It's not in your face tobacco. This is actually really, really tasty. I think it's nicely packaged. I think Pony Boy did a great job in that. I can see why Jason took a while to find the line that he wants to carry. I think, Jason, you picked the winner. This is a really nice juice. Again, that's 4 milligrams of nicotine, 15% PG, 85% VG. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Give it a look. Folks, it's been a long video, and I really apologize, but I wanted to cover a lot. I really wanted to go through this Squape because I've heard so much about it, and I wanted to give my version of it. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, I like doing it with you. I like spending the time with you. So stay healthy and happy vaping. Take care, folks.